podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
Hello and welcome to It's Only a Game. The new season is upon us. Well, it's already kind of started if you're in Scotland. But we are joined today for our pre-season predictions from the Premier League all the way to the National League by our very special guest, Boing Boing. It's West Brom fan Mark from Project Football. How you doing, mate?
Oh, I'm good. Thanks for having us back on after, well, it's been a few months. I think it was the back end of last year I was on last time.
It's been a while, definitely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But no.
Yeah, but great to have you back on, mate. Thank you. You're suitably dressed in club attire ahead of the new season. We've got the divisions pretty well represented, but we are, of course, for a rare occasion, we've got Matt, Dec, and Greg. We've got all of us tonight, guys. You're very, very privileged.
That's a full house.
How are we doing, gents?
Doing fine. Yeah, knackered, but we're all here, ready, waiting for the season. Yeah.
Greg's been in pre-season training, getting himself ready to play in Jim McNulty's defence.
I'll be on the bench. I'll just be asleep on the bench, but yeah, I'll be there.
Fair.
You okay, Matt, Dec? All good?
All good, mate. Yeah, it's the 6-week holidays, so I cannot complain.
Oh, wow.
I've managed half a day in work and I've down tools. So this is the first light of day that the laptop has seen since, 2 weeks ago? 2 and a bit weeks? Happy
You
days.
get your laptop out most nights, let's be honest. For work purposes.
A work laptop too, Dec. Have
Obviously.
some shame.
I'm an ex-teacher, I know how it works.
Shocking, boys, shocking. But yeah, no,
Right.
all good, gents.
Excellent. So, as alluded to, this is our prediction show. So, this is the chance for us all to make fools of ourselves come May. I personally can't wait. Obviously, we went through some of our predictions from last year. We've got some horrendously wrong. We got some pretty well right. But it's all part of the fun. If you agree, if you disagree, let us know your predictions, as many of you have. And thank you for those of you on Twitter, X, whatever it's called, that have given your predictions so far. It's great to see an array of what people think and even why. But where are we thinking to start? Are we thinking, are we thinking to go top to bottom, start in the middle, just go rogue, just start wherever? It's our show. We can choose whatever order we want. There's no rules here.
I think we go
rogue.
bottom to top, boys.
I'm happy with that.
That's how
Bottom
Dec
to top.
Yeah.
most days.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
standard. That's how I greet people at the front door, bottom to top.
I mean, that's why I don't come round anymore.
That sounds like Dec was a dog in a past life.
More ways than one, Mark. More ways than one.
So we're starting with the arsehole of football, National League. Greg?
Oh, all right, okay. Is that what we're doing? Yeah.
It's
Greg, how's it feel down there, Greg?
I mean, I'm the toxics of football, so
it sounds like that anyway. I mean, in terms of some of the standard, the bottom end of that division, from what we remember, and some of the refereeing, it really is. Well, it's unfair because it's mostly professional, but in terms of professional football, it is. Yeah. Anyway, Greg, what are your thoughts on the National League coming ahead this season?
So I don't think it's going to be as tricky as previous years, where you had your Wrexhams and your Notts counties absolutely hammering the points, if you will, up there. What was last year? Was it Chesterfield that sort of ran away with it? Did they get? Was it 80 points in 30? What was it? Something ridiculous, wasn't it?
Something stupid. Yeah.
I don't think we're going to get anybody like that. I think historically in the past few years, I still call it the conference. It's been sort of labelled as the sort of ultimate escape room, hasn't it, really, in terms of, as soon as we got relegated, it'll be years. And it's like, okay. You won't get out, it's going to be difficult. It's the most difficult league in Britain and all this kind of stuff. And you go, okay. But I don't know. It's. I've seen a few, what would you call it, suggestions and predictions on Twitter. Obviously, I'm just looking at the odds checkers on here. Barnet are one of the favourites. You've got Oldham are up there. Forest Green, Southend, Sutton, Hartlepool, Dagenham, York, yes, Fylde, and then us. It could be anybody. In my gut feeling, I'll try and keep it quite short, but my gut feeling would be, I do fancy Southend to be up there. When we played them last season, I thought they were quite a neat looking side, and all the turmoil that's been happening there, I think they've it seems as if they've turned it around somewhat. They've got the sponsors back in there. There's a company that we use at work, Solo Press. I'll give them a shout. They're the front sponsors of Southend, a print company. I know that those people very well at the moment. But yeah, I think Southend will be up there. My other gut feeling would be Altrincham, because they had a very good season, narrowly missing out. I think they were in the playoffs, but I think they just run out of steam, basically, Altrincham. But I would definitely put Altrincham back up there as well. I know everyone's tipping Barnet to be up there. Probably would. I'd agree with Barnet. I'd probably put ourselves up there in terms of top 6. We just signed another player.
Better question. Who isn't going to win it?
Okay.
Because you've named about half the league at this point.
Yes. Tamworth. I don't think Tamworth.
Forest Green
Beauty of the
Roses.
National
Tamworth.
League. National League.
It's like
Everyone
that
can win it.
Surprised if
It's like
Tamworth.
that scene in Mike Bassett when Pele's naming
That's a great one.
USA,
England.
Slovenia might win.
England are in it.
England, they qualify. Rochdale, they're
Tamworth. Tamworth are going to get relegated.
Right, good stuff.
50-1 for promotion.
Tamworth.
What's that?
Apparently. Yeah.
Wow.
And to win outright, they are 66-1.
66-1
Along
That's
with
weird.
Boston United, Ebbsfleet and Wealdstone.
Got a lot of love for Boston
Quite
United. That's a good away day.
Yeah.
That's a good away day. So I'll go back. I'll keep it to 3. My gut feeling is Southend, Altrincham, Barnet, and then we'll be hopefully up there. Fingers crossed. But yeah, that's my gut feeling. I don't know about anybody else's gut feelings. I know we are obviously on the 5th division that people might not really know about anymore. But
I reckon. I mean, Gateshead had a little stab at it, didn't they? And then obviously there were off-field issues with them. So whether they can carry a bit of momentum. And Halifax always kind of seem to have a good start and then peter off towards the end of a season. And I don't know what it is, but I have a bit of a soft spot for Halifax. I remember that being a good little
I'd bank on them going
resting in the sun.
yeah,
Classic.
Howard.
There'd be nationwide celebrations.
You're just looking to get as many bank references as possible now.
that'd be good.
If you'd like, yeah.
There's the game. Right, I've thrown the gauntlets out. It's for everyone else to join in.
Interesting.
Been making puns since the year HSBC.
I like that one.
Nice.
I mean, if I'm allowed to jump in on the National League conference
Go for it.
level, Solihull for me, despite them being a West Midlands team, but they got to 2 finals last year, one of them being the playoffs. And I just think it's their time. My dad always says that teams have gone on bad runs for whatever reason, they're due one. Yeah. And for me, Solihull this season, they're due a promotion.
Check them out.
You mentioned Tamworth. I used to live there when I was a very small child, so soft spot for them. Don't really remember it, but and Hartlepool as well, purely because of Football Manager when it was Championship Manager back in the day.
I'm with
So
you.
all fairly logical reasons.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely. I mean, yeah, it's difficult to know how to predict most of these divisions. I think, particularly if you're a fan of a club sort of outside the National League, looking at the National League going, I don't know where to begin researching this. Because there'll be podcasts out there, I'm going to say this, guys, you'll be shocked to believe this, but podcasts out there do much better research and have much better in-depth.
Get
I doubt
out.
it.
What?
Can you believe it? And I'm going to caveat this with my predictions. I've got quite, I say detailed, I've got predictions for each of the top 5 leagues. They're about 75% gut feeling, 20% vibes, and about 5% actual knowledge and research. So,
About 5%.
but at least it's not.
Place your bets, boys and
Yeah.
girls.
But at least it's not drawing names out of a hat like last year.
Yeah,
So
that was
that's a
that was
start.
something. That was me and Jimmy.
That backfired massively. Some of the shite.
Some of that didn't add up on a listening standpoint, did it? Really, picking out of a hat.
No, it's not really an audio medium. That so
It was funny though.
On with the best league in the world, the National League. I think for me, I've kind of gone champions Barnet. I think most people are tipping Barnet to win it, and I think really if they'd have made it sounds like a stupid comment. If they'd have made the final last year, I think they would have gone up, but they obviously didn't. I think was it Solihull who went to Barnet and smashed them in there.
I think so,
Was it
yeah.
Bromley?
I think it might.
I mean, was it?
There
There was a lot of bees in the playoffs, wasn't there?
There was a lot of bees, including Barnet being the bees, but Beeception. But yeah, playoffs, I've gone for, Oldham, Southend, Solihull, Hartlepool, York, and I've thrown Rochdale in there because I felt bad not having Rochdale in there. I don't really know.
So
But I
basically,
quite
you
like
pandered to Greg.
Of course, and our listenership. We've got a lot of Dale fans that listen, to be fair. I couldn't,
You think you pandered? Wait until my
There's a lot of Dale fans.
all 12 of us there.
I'm learning lots tonight, boys. We're well researched.
12
And Rochdale are well backed.
Yeah, the ratio of Dale fans compared to Dale fans listening to us is about 1 to 1. So,
and that's Greg.
Just Greg playing it on all of us.
It's just Greg. It's
Me
Greg
on repeat all the time.
But I quite agree. I quite like Altrincham. I wouldn't be shocked to see them up there again. I quite like Dagenham. People saying Gateshead. I don't know if the whole issue with the stadium last year and everything else. Obviously, Mike Williamson's not in charge now. He's gone to MK Dons. Well, he went before the end of last season. Whether or not that will be, yeah, I know. All right.
That was a concrete cow mooing. By the way, it wasn't a
the moo camp.
It was a concrete moo.
We'll get on to MK later. But to go down, I've gone Tamworth, Braintree, Ebbsfleet and Woking. I think Woking have had quite a lot of issues off the field. Quite a few financial issues that I think will maybe hinder them massively. I think, like yourself, Greg, I think I've got a bit of a biased soft spot for Boston United, having seen them a few times, mainly through one of our uni mates who's from Boston. But what I will say in terms of a don't fancy category, the two sides that have come down from League Two, Forest Green and Sutton, people are tipping them to come straight back up. I don't fancy them at all. Like, I think Forest Green will be fine, but mid-table. Sutton might push the playoffs under Steve Morrison, but I think if you're crap in League Two, you're not going to be any great shakes normally in the National League. So I don't fancy either side to bounce back. Admittedly, I think they've kind of found their natural level again. There's one of those kind of, I'm going to refer to this quite a bit, a gravity relegation, where a club gets to a certain level and there's only so far they can go without like serious investment or like a Brentford-style plan that that sort of raises their floor to a new level. Sort of like Peter have done over the last 15 years. They've gone from being this kind of 4th division to 3rd tier club now established, but I don't see it with those two. I just think they're kind of just going to be there or thereabouts. But I think there's better teams, clearly, because of Tip Barnet and all that other lot, half the leagues in the playoffs. So that's my National League done and dusted.
I've done no research into this at all. So I'm going to pander to Greg and say Rochdale are going to win the lot. HMS, piss the league. See you guys in May.
FA Trophy, FA Cup.
Whole thing, you name it. Whatever they're in, they're going to win it.
Champions League of non-league, that whatever
Big
cup,
time.
the one that FC United won.
Big time.
I'll take that.
Yeah, Greg.
I'll take that.
Yeah, it's not going to
We'll take
happen.
that. Win the league, I'll take that. That's the understated reaction to me taking the league.
You're right.
You win the league. I'll take that. I think we'd accept that as a moderate season winning.
I didn't want to get too excited.
Greg wants it won by Christmas. Nothing else will do.
Yeah,
I saw the trophy gift wrapped, weren't they, on the 25th?
I saw somebody on Twitter say
on the top of his tree
something like, what was it? Something like, all this spending that Rochdale are doing. I thought, all this spending, we've like half the ones that we've signed we've got for free. And then, like, I don't know, one of them's been for like a packet of Quavers and a Kit Kat, and it's just like, we've not been spending anything. And I put something on Twitter like, oh yes, we've been spending just like Wrexham the other year. About 15 likes. I was like, yes, of course we've been bloody heck. Bloody hell.
15 likes, that's all Rochdale.
Yeah,
That's
I think
that's the season ticket holders
all
gone.
my followers.
Spending just like Wrexham.
Yeah,
I'm not seeing that somehow, Dale. I'm not seeing Hollywood Rochdale anytime soon, sadly.
No.
Even though they have got American owners now.
No. They're from Rochdale. They're from Rochdale, the Ogden family. Yeah.
It's the Ogdens.
You remember?
That's why they're spending Kit Kats and Quavers.
It's not Thogden, but I convinced him it was Thogden's dad or something.
Thogdad, Thogdad owns Rochdale.
Yeah.
That's
Big
it.
Thogdad.
There we go.
Don't get me started on him.
So what? Just wait till Netflix roll into town, you'll be all right.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Greg's directing.
Oh,
The series writes itself.
The whole thing will be done in one cut.
One cut.
1 20-minute episode.
One cut, Greg.
That's the season.
Greg. That's the one. Rightio, chaps.
Indeed.
We don't have to talk some shite, don't we?
Should we go?
God, we don't know.
Should we go into League Two?
League
Two.
Always.
I mean,
the
in
greatest
12
league
months'
in the
time,
world.
Greg, you will be going into League
Hopefully.
Two.
Yeah, if Matt's to be believed, where you're going to HMS piss the league, you'll be beyond. You'll go straight up. You'll do a Wrexham, go straight to League One. Just give you
Back to
automatic double promotion in one
Division
season.
With the spending that they're doing, it's to be expected, isn't it?
Division 4 used to be called the Rochdale Division for 40 years, so we'll have it back. League 2, gents.
Who wants to take the League Two predictions first? Who's
Aldo.
Go on, Dak. You're the League Two
Of course.
entrepreneur, aren't you?
Tranmere.
Don't come to me.
Me too.
No
Tranmere in
one
the
comes
house.
to me first.
And he's muting
Go on,
himself.
Declan.
Sorry, I was struggling to unmute myself there. Not that the listener would have known, but I've exposed myself. I'm going to put it not well.
That's got not through a mutant, mate.
That's later on. That's for the championship. What was I going to say? I'm going to put my neck on the line, and I'm going to say that we're going to have a very good season.
Oh, every year we go through
I
this.
don't know whether it's the signings that we've made, or whether it's that I'm under the Nigel Atkins spell.
Or the fact you're on holiday.
There's a sniff of optimism about the place. Oh, and we've got an absolute banging home shirt, by the way, which always helps.
That is a class. I was running past the stadium earlier. I was like, that was a home shirt.
The home shirt is... I mean, I've worn it a couple of times around the house and just thought, sexy
nothing
as.
else.
Just been out there shirt cocking it, just having a great time.
Catching the sun in the back garden. No, I think we're going to... From what I've seen of pre-season... I think we're going to be playing attacking football. They've made some decent signings. I'm excited to see Sol Solomon at some point through the season. He seems to be a bit like the Elliot Nevitt signing, that if it works, brilliant. If it doesn't, we've got other plans. But his goal scoring record at kind of National League North-ish level is unbelievable. And obviously he's got a natural goal scoring talent, whether he can, transfer that over to full-time football. But we've got Omari Patrick, who's just come in. Brilliant signing. And I think if you'd have said to anyone at the start of the season that he was going to be your main signing, let alone anyone else come in, people would have been happy. I think we're going to be up there. I think you've got to kind of look at teams like, I think Carlisle will probably be up there. Crewe had a good season last year and only just missed out. So I think they will be up and around there again. MK Dons, it pains me to say it, but I think they will probably win the league this year. They had a good, strong go at it last year. Port Vale will probably be up and around there again. And I'm going to say possibly Notts County as well. Teams for relegation, for me, I don't think Salford will be far off it. I think they've made some signings and whatnot, but I just think, I don't know, they're always kind of flitting, and I don't know, maybe that's just me wanting to see them fail. Morecambe, I think they're going to struggle this season. They've made very few signings, and the ones that they have made have kind of been chocolate teapot signings. Who else am I predicting? I know there's only 2 relegation spots before some smart ass says anything.
Like Jimmy. Bromley,
I'm going to say they'll go back down. There you have it. You don't need to watch any League 2 football. HMS Pistol League for MK Dons and the Rovs.
Matt won't be watching any League 2 football.
No.
So
I might.
you might come and watch a Rovers game with us.
Salford's down the road.
It is, to be fair, you literally live down the road from Salford.
It's literally about 15 minutes.
Yeah, equidistant Salford's a Bolton, aren't you, pretty much, where you are?
I think Salford's just...
Not to give away your location on a
nearer.
podcast like this.
Can't be wrong. I think Salford's just a bit nearer as the crow flies. There's not much in it, though. Bolton, I did in about 20 minutes on that friendly last year. I think Salford's will be about
45 minutes.
We did Bolton in about 90 minutes the last time we played them and got stuffed.
Nice. I keep getting invites to go to Bolton from a friend of mine, and every time he's asked me to go, I'm always busy. So it feels like I'm being really mean to him that I'm just... Anyway, we'll come to Bolton, then next league.
Don't worry about it.
Not missing much.
Anyway, any other League 2 predictions?
And if no one minds, Mark, do you want to go first? Have you got any League 2 thoughts?
Again, not a mass amount of research got into it. In no particular order, I think the ones that are going to go... because it's 2... It's 3 automatic from
Top
League
3
2,
and
isn't
playoff.
it?
Yeah.
So I've got Notts County, Port Vale and Walsall.
Walsall's a good shout.
County, obviously they're sort of... They come up with Wrexham, as everyone knows, with that mad season coming up out of the National League and the points tallying, what have you. Port Vale, I thought they looked all right last season. And Walsall, this might be me showing some more Midlands bias, but I promise you it's not. I think that they had a not too bad a run towards the back end of the season. So if they can sort of pick up from there and push on with it, then it'd be great to see the Saddlers getting automatic. Relegation, as we said with the number of B teams in the conference playoffs last season, I've gone for Barrow and Bromley to go back to that division. Again, no, that's more gut feeling than anything. And Barrow screwed me over on Football Manager so they can get in the bin.
That's the best reason to predict them to get relegated. If they did you on Football Manager, then
Barrow's away end absolutely streams National. In fact, no, I wouldn't disrespect Greg with that. It streams Conference North.
National League North.
That away end is horrendous. You can't see the goal. You cannot see the goal.
Sometimes that's a good thing.
I'm going to say, for Tranmere, it's a good thing.
True.
That's like being away at Newcastle, but that's because you're up in the heavens.
That's because you're like...
I know this is like a bit like racehorses have the blinkers on.
Yeah.
Halfway across the stand, they've just kind of built a screen that you just can't see the goal.
Fantastic.
It's a unique and interesting design flaw.
That's amazing.
God bless Barrow.
Fair enough.
Indeed. Especially if they go down. My League Two thoughts. I mean, I've gone champion to Port Vale because I, really rate Darren Moore as a manager. I know he didn't have the best time at Huddersfield, but as a manager, I think he's brilliant.
I can wholeheartedly agree with that.
Yeah, as an Albion fan, yeah, absolutely. Well,
and
he did a solid job.
As a person as well, he's just one of the nicest blokes you could ever meet. Yeah. I mean, I think when he got sacked after, I think we drew 0-0 at home in Millwall, I think, when he got sacked.
Yeah.
Or something along those lines. And he'd had the message to say he'd got the boot, and he was still outside the Hawthorns, signing autographs, taking pictures with the fans, even though he just lost his job. And yeah, I can't speak highly enough of him.
Shows the measure of the man. I think he had a lot of shit at Sheffield Wednesday, even taking them up, the issues with Chansiri there, and then the Huddersfield job was just one of those jobs that last season in the Championship was, whoever took it was on a high to nothing with the quality of the squad and the budget there, unfortunately. But I think he's brought in George Byers, who got him out of League One with Sheffield Wednesday. I think he'll be pivotal in midfield. Got Ryan Crowsdale's got experience at Stockport taking out the division. You've got Jayden Stockley, who's always good for a goal in the lower divisions. Laurent Talai as well as a good forward. They've just got talent, as well as like Ben Garrity, even Chislett, who are good level players who, you said it performed well last season. They've just come down from League One, but they're, in my opinion, I think the strongest of the sides to come down from League One last season by quite some distance, in what was not a particularly brilliant bottom half of League One last season.
Yeah, I've got to be honest. I forgot they got relegated, to be fair.
No, it's all right. No, to be honest with you, they're one of those clubs. Like I would put Port Vale in the bracket with like some Northampton and Wolves, so I have to look up each year what division they're in. So it's either League One or League Two.
Sort of League 1.5, isn't they?
There's that kind of weird So I've gone Port Vale as champions, mainly as well because I really want Darren Moore to be successful. But I do think generally he has done well. He's used his contacts. And to go up as well automatically, I've gone Doncaster because their run at the back end of last season when the Grant McCann was phenomenal. They went from being about 20th around Christmas time to making the playoffs. And if they had obviously got past Crewe on penalties, obviously they'd have been a game away from going up, would have been the most remarkable rise. They went on this ridiculous winning run of about, was it like 15 games in a row? But it was something mad like that got them from like near relegation to the playoffs. And I've gone Chesterfield to go back-to-back. Okay. Which, because I really rate Paul Cook, I think they've got they're not going to be the most exciting team to watch at times. They've got older players. Paddy Madden's now signed there up front. I just need to go with Will Grigg. So they're about combined age of about 105 up front. But I just think he's been off. He's been extinguished for about 8 years. Ever since the Euros when they sung about it in Northern Ireland, and he didn't play a minute. But they've got Ollie Banks, who I love. I think he's a brilliant player. A bit of Tranmere bias in there, but I think he's a wonderful player who can easily play and has played at the top end of the league too. I just think Chesterfield, they smashed what was no disrespect, a quite average National League last season, but they still smashed it. And I think that momentum can, as Wrexham have shown, take you up. My playoffs, I'm going to get size, I'm going to get grounds. I've gone from this basic bitch League 2 playoffs I think anyone's gone for, which is MK, Bradford, Salford, Gillingham. But it's not without precedent that I think MK have, painting to say as a football fan, they've recruited well. Mike Williamson's a good manager. I think the same with Bradford. They've got some really good players. Now every year it's the typical not the top 20 syndrome. They tip Bradford to do well and they never seem to. But I just think, I'm not saying they'll go up, but I think they'll be up there again. Salford, contrary to what Dax said, I think Ben Woodburn, Cole Stockton, those are players that you know are going to do a job in League Two. And that's just two examples. Carl Robinson needs to get his career back on track after some bad spells. I think they'll be sound. In Gillingham, now the investment's in there. They've got Elliot Nevitt from Crewe. They've got Mark Bonner as a manager who got Cambridge out of this division previously. And you just think they're actually building a proper solid League Two team now, rather than the mad basket cakes of the club they were last season. So I think, they're decent shout to the playoffs, but I do quite fancy Rovers. Tranmere to have a good season. I fancy Colchester and the Cowleys to do much better. I think 5 years struggling at the bottom, but the Cowleys are Danny Cowley, Nicky Cowley, for those who don't know, I think are brilliant managers, and I think they've got enough in there to have a good run at the top half. I think Notts as well will have a solid season. I wouldn't be shocked to see any of those in the playoffs, truthfully. But to go down, I've gone Accrington. There's a lot going on at Accrington. The chief exec is Andy Holt. Well, the owners come out and basically said, we're cutting the budget massively. John Coleman's gone. They've got a pretty inexperienced manager in now. They've got Jeb Brandon, I think, former Rovers midfielder, as the assistant who was at Morecambe last year. They've cut the budget massively, and they've done a weird thing of buying Boston United's 2 centre forwards to play up front for them, which, sure, they know each other, they know how they play, but they got promoted out the playoffs in the National League North last season. Is that going to be enough firepower to get you sustainable 2 divisions above in a full-time football? That's a massive ask of the 2 Boston forwards. I just think it's a tough one, because I like Accrington, but I just think a lot of the big name players, a lot of the real fabric of the club's gone over the last couple of years, and this other club I tip to go down every year. They just don't seem to go. It's nothing against them. I just think they're going to go eventually, and it's Harrogate, because they're a weird one.
They're like a Yorkshire floater, aren't they, Jimmy? They just will not flush.
Don't get me wrong, really nice club. Simon Weaver's done a cracking job. Yeah, Yorkshire floater.
Or he turns.
I'm sure that's a pub that Greg and I used to frequent in Huddersfield back in the day. But they're one of those clubs that I've got nothing against them. I just seem to tip to go down every year, because they kept getting smashed, like battered every game in League Two at the start of last season, and yet they were up in the playoffs, and no one quite knew how. Like, with the numbers they were putting up, how they were doing so well. They've lost Aldo, who you'll be shocked, Greg, to know has gone to Peterborough. How? I don't know, but he was one of their better players at Harrogate last season. And again, I just got a feeling of it.
Yeah, he was last season. He was sort of. I saw a few of his highlights on Twitter that a few of the Dale fans were retweeting, and they weren't great goals. Some of them. I know. Yes, these. You can make a good highlight package on YouTube, can't you? You can make a player look good on YouTube, and I felt
you could make me look good on YouTube
myself. But I got that vibe with Aldo that technically he's a street footballer. Is that something like that? That's his original.
How old did you sound then, by the way?
Me, yeah.
He is a street
footballer.
Apparently.
Rock and roll and bass.
Yeah. So I didn't really rate him at Rochdale anyway. I just thought he were bang average, and then he's at Peterborough. Peterborough, as we've mentioned before, have got an eye on good players. He might play better with a better squad. He might play better with better players around him. It's like they've just signed Hayes, from, we had him on loan. We gutted that he didn't sign back for us, and they've got him as well. So there's 2 extra Rochdale lads at Peterborough, but Peterborough have always had their eye on a decent player over the years. Did they sign Scott Hogan a couple of years ago? I think that was maybe another ex-Rochdale.
I think that was Brentford who signed him for a while.
Oh, could have been.
But yeah, I mean, we'll obviously get onto Peterborough a bit more in the League One predictions as well. But yeah, they're my 2 to go down. But I don't fancy Morecambe. I just think there's going to be a bit more spirit there with all the shit going off the field. I think there's going to be the announcement of 15 players on one day, which was just phenomenal. Why doesn't I think every team should wait until the day before the start of the season and just splurge, announce all. It'd be chaos for predictions, but I think every team in the Football League and non-league just go, here's the 20 players we've signed. Oh shit, right, that'll be fun.
In a weird way, that would have happened years ago.
That's basically you'd have turned up and gone, oh fuck, he plays for us now. Oh sound, who's this fella?
Bring it back.
That would have been
bring it back.
Yeah, bring it back. It's gone too Fabrizio Romano for my liking now, the National League. But yeah, I don't really fancy Cheltenham or Newport either. They just seem to be in a bit of a rut managerially, and again, I've said I don't fancy Bromley, but also I've not put them to go down because teams never come up and go straight back down from the National League. It's like if you're doing well in the National League, you're usually good enough to kind of just stay up at least in League Two because the gap's not that different. But again, I don't really fancy Bromley to have any great. But they'll be like a Sutton. They'll have 3 years and they'll go back down again, and that'll be right. See it. So yeah, so that's my League Two expert predictions. As I'm sure you're all enthralled to know.
And now for my non-expert predictions. I think Chesterfield might go back to back. I don't know why. I think it's quite common. You look at recent history.
Paul Cook.
And then Deck, purely for you, Tranmere might do something this season. They might score the odd goal.
Might get a corner.
Every now and again.
Thanks.
Might do something. Does that mean win the league or get relegated? Because
might get something.
They'll do something.
They'll do something. I didn't say what. They might do something. But
there'll be a
that is for you. That's for you to interpret it.
Well, I'll be there for 23 games at least, Jimmy, so there's every chance.
That's high odds. High odds.
Other than that, I think the Salford's again an interesting one because that project seems to have gone very quiet at the whole Class of 92 situation. They had the whole thing in the BBC years ago, wasn't it? I think, and we'll get on to Wrexham in a second, I appreciate it.
They're all Wrexham, yeah.
It's plateaued to a weird way that I don't think they really know what they can do with it. I think they've realised that the extent of how far they can take it is kind of where they are. Maybe League One and a push. But I wouldn't surprise me to see them go down because they weren't in the best of form, I think, at the last season.
They were low last season. They were about 19th, I think, last season or 18th last season. It was poor, but they've done a lot of recruitment. But yeah,
then again,
I agree.
They're probably going to win the league at a counter now.
I take on board what you and Deck have said, that you've tipped them to be poor or down there. I mean, I'll put them in the playoffs, but it's one of them where they could be anywhere from second to 22nd. Who knows?
They're going to do something.
Every team will predict. Every team will do something.
Yeah. Every team.
Good night, everyone.
They will be in possession of the ball at least once within the game.
They may kick a ball.
And their groundsman will cut the grass. They're my predictions.
That's a good one.
Mightn't always get the line straight, but they'll be on there, which is important.
I mean, technically, if we're doing that prediction for National League, then someone's got plastic pitches, so we can't predict the line of the groundsman. There's some 3G pitches there, so they can't really allow.
I'll give it a good go.
Just find out who provides the AstroTurf, and it's like, right, that's there. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, I'm with you, Jim, on the Bradford front. You did mention Bradford, didn't you? Graham Alexander's there now, isn't he?
I did mention Bradford. I think he's a great manager.
Graham Alexander. There's something I was listening to the Not Top 20 podcast yesterday, I think, and today, and they said that there's a very large amount of managers in League Two that have been promoted one way or another. So that's Paul Simpson's. Loads of them. There's loads of managers that have been promoted. It's just a cauldron of managers.
The Premier League and stuff, and there's so many promotions. I think half the managers, if not more, have been promoted to some level in League Two. Yeah. It is mad, but I listened to that. They've influenced my predictions somewhat, but I didn't want to copy them because I do rate their opinions at not top 20. They are pretty in depth, which we are not. So
I'm with you on the Accrington front. I'm with you on that one. That I think they're going to struggle. They had quite a lot of stability, obviously, with John Coleman and Jimmy Bell or Ball, was it? I can't remember his name. I should remember. He was our side at one point. Ball. Yeah, so they had like 10 years of it. Was whether it's progression or steadiness. I don't know what you want to call that, but they did have that. And now I'm not too sure who the manager is at Accrington, but and obviously the budget cuts. It's a nice. They've done the main stand up at Accrington. It's lovely. I think it's called Coley's, the bar. And they have concerts inside, well, mini gigs or whatever you want to call it. That's really neat.
There's another prediction, Greg. They'll have a manager and the stand will look lovely.
There you go.
Top class as always, guys.
Can I chuck one in that they will wear football shirts?
Not always.
Oh,
not always. There could be the occasional celebration.
There you go.
They'll all wear those stupid bras.
Oh,
we need to sort that out.
Battery opera.
Just like the rugby players with the thing in the back of the shirt. Job done.
Yeah.
Just stood there on the sideline trying to fit the double Ds in. It's not a good look.
Just microchipping like you do with your pet dog, you know. There you go.
Yeah, the play.
He's off in the car park again, lads. Come and go and fetch him.
Is that Grealish?
Oh, bless him. Love Grealish. Bless him.
He's lost his Brill cream. Oh, no.
Sure, let's stand volleyball.
Don't. He's still got me blocked on Twitter for the last 10
Has he?
years.
Who's that?
Still.
Stan Collymore.
Has he?
Because I can tell you exactly why this is. It's nothing offensive. Well, I don't think it is anyway, personally. I messaged Matt and I's stepbrother one night, who was tweeting Stan Collymore. I don't know what about. Basically, I think it was along the lines of telling him just to go to bed. And I said, "Oi, be careful. Don't disrespect that Real Oviedo and Bradford City legend." And he blocked me for that.
Wow.
Too close. Clearly hit too.
Wow.
Too close.
Clearly I hit a nerve.
You did.
He's not blocked on his OnlyFans though. Costs you a fortune every month, doesn't he, Jimmy?
In the same way that for some reason
I don't discuss that publicly.
Bleed you dry.
I'm still blocked by John Aldridge for reasons I don't never quite know. Having never tweeted him, never been on his page. To this day, no
I
idea.
think just being an Evertonian gets you blocked by John Aldridge.
Unless he's mistaken you for your brother Jimmy there, Matt. I'm not too sure.
I've never met his
No, have you not?
No.
Oh, can I make another footballing
Please
prediction?
do.
Go on.
John Aldridge will be very biased in any commentary that he does for Liverpool this season.
Never.
Hasn't he? Yeah.
I emphasise very, very.
Haven't he and Mark Lawrenson predicted Liverpool to win every game for the last 5 seasons or something?
Sounds
They've
right.
been literally the perfect team.
Throw Jamie Carragher in that mix as well. He loves being biased.
Oh God,
He does.
Yeah.
He does. To be fair.
Another prediction: Roy Keane won't smile for another 12 months. There you go.
Unless he's next to Ian Wright, maybe.
Maybe at the film premiere he might.
Some of the Euro stuff that they did.
It's fantastic, wasn't it?
So funny.
Michael Richards will sort him out for that.
Oh, Michael Richards is brilliant. I think he's fantastic.
He's great, isn't he?
He's got such a good sense of humour. I do like him. Right, on to the awkward middle child of the EFL, shall we say? The one which none of us actually have a clean support. We've represented every other division apart from this one. League One, for those who aren't familiar, the third division, the artist formerly known as Division 3. What are we thinking about League One? I'm sure one team will definitely come up in discussion at some point, but yeah, anyone want to go first on that?
Gosh.
Mark looks ready to go here. I can tell.
I've got one word written down. And again, not a Midlands League. It is Birmingham, but they're probably the biggest target for anyone in that division. So I just think they'll do all right. I don't know whether they'll win the league, but they'll definitely be there or there. I'd say in the automatics. They can only keep it up for so long. If they do go on like a mad run to start with, that they might well peter out. But again, the season hasn't even started properly yet, so you don't know. I wouldn't mind Huddersfield doing well. That's one of my random away days I've done with my old man years ago. We were meant to go to AFC Wimbledon just after they got promoted, but tickets were dusting roads. They were like gold dust. That's a wrestling reference if anybody gets it.
I'm with you.
You might have lost
I'm sorry if half your listenership's gone for that, but
keep them coming.
We're all wrestling fans here. It's all good.
If I'd have known those puns were going to be available at the start of the show, I'd have made a lot more.
Throw more in. Absolutely.
Right, don't tempt me. Anyway, we ended up. Hang on, Declan's disappeared.
I can't see him.
Yeah,
we can hear him.
Unfortunately, yeah. Anyway, so instead of going to AFC Wimbledon, we went up the other end of the country and we ended up at Huddersfield versus Bury.
Oh, nice.
On the opening day. Yeah.
That was 2009, roughly?
I
think I went to that game.
Right.
I'm going to say, were you there?
Did you come with me, Jim?
Bit of context. Jimmy and Greg went to uni in Huddersfield.
I don't think I saw Bury at Huddersfield. I think Bury might have been in League Two.
I think it ended in a draw.
You know what?
I think it was 1-1, yeah.
Yes, I think I went to that game, Mark. I think I went to that game. Yeah.
How bizarre is that?
Wow. I was in the Huddersfield end, and a few of my friends, because I used to live in Bury, they were in the Bury end. We all met up before and after the game. Yeah, crikey.
2011.
Roughly. Yes, I would have been at... Yes, that's right. Wow.
I've just had a look on 11v11.com and it's come up with all the head-to-heads of the two, and yeah, that would have been it. In fact...
What date in 2011 was that, Mark? Just trying to work out, because I left Huddersfield in 2011, but it would have been the summer.
So it was August the 6th, if you're that interested.
I'd left uni by then, so I wouldn't have gone.
And they're playing blue and white stripes as well, so, partial.
Yeah.
There you go.
I ended up with a shirt from the club shop which had Ward, and I think it was 7 on the back. Danny Ward.
Danny Ward, yeah, he was good back in the day, Danny Ward. One of those really good lower league, football league players. Yeah. He was a cracking player, quick as anything.
What's the chances of that, Mark? Wow.
I know. Who knew?
Hey.
I've got nothing for anyone for going down, unfortunately, so I'll leave you guys to discuss the relegation.
Let's have a quick look who's in the league, because I always forget.
Anyone? Or shall I jump in at this point? Or?
What I will say,
I'll go very quickly.
Oh, go on,
I just want to say, I don't think Wrexham will go.
Oh, sorry. You don't think
I
Wrexham
don't think
will
they will. I think they'll be
I
there
love
or
you,
thereabouts
Mark.
for the playoffs. But no, I don't think this time.
I will agree with you on that. I'd say that they'll be somewhere around 10th to 12th, kind of safe mid-table.
Yeah, comfortable,
Probably
but not
at some point where people
anyone.
think that they might, but
I
they
thought
won't.
you would have tipped to come bottom, Dad.
No, I'm a realist, not an optimist. I'll go with Birmingham to go up, along with Rotherham, because they seem to be the eternal yo-yo side. And I'm going to put my neck on a line and say that Stockport County may well do back-to-back-to-back. I feel like their recruitment and their calibre of player even as far as the conference, they were League One standard players then, and they've kind of only improved on the squad. And I'll be on a bit of a soft spot for Stockport. I don't know why, because over the years we've had some interesting games with them, to say the least. But yeah, I'd like to see them do well. I think Charlton will be up and around there as well. And then teams to go down, I'll give you 3. Crawley, Shrewsbury, and Stevenage. I think they'll struggle massively this season. So there you go. League One roundup. Over and out.
Job done.
Shall I? Right. This is going to get me my Tranmere licence revoked. I've tipped Bolton to win League One. Because Ian Everett, every season he's managed at Barrow and then at Bolton, he's improved every single season. If not now, he's not going to do it, which, okay, I'm sure there's a fair chunk of the world. Hopefully he doesn't bloody do it. But I just think there's a settled squad there with some minor improvements. And I just think this is the time now where I thought they were probably going to win it last year. Is he going to block me? Amazing. He's blocking me. Fantastic. For context, Deck is deleting my contact.
That's not just blocked, that's altogether gone.
That's altogether gone. Fair enough. Can't say I blame him. No, I feel ashamed a little bit. But you've got to say, when a good team's a good team, I didn't expect them to lose to Oxford last season, playoff final. They were heavy favourites. They bottled it massively. Oxford played well on the day. I just think they've got that know-how, that experience. And this is going to shock you. For the second promoted side, I've not gone Birmingham. And I'll give my reasons for that in a sec, because I know people are going, what, Birmingham? But they're like the biggest spenders in League One history. I've gone Rotherham, 2 words, Steve Evans. The football's shite, but he gets results. And
Has he brought his cat with him?
Where is
he's brought multiple cats with him. That's how much I believe in this.
the cat chips?
There's a joke for Mark another time. He doesn't understand. That was a joke for a podcast about 3 years ago, wasn't it? Steve Evans' cat.
Yes, it is. Is the cat
I'd
chips?
forgotten that. I think I was on the podcast.
Yeah. I think basically, was it Matt's girlfriend Heather brought a cat in the room for some reason? It was quite a chunky cat, so we made out it was Steve Evans' cat. That was the joke, basically. and it's stuck ever since.
I don't know why, but
so it was.
And we've had a little bit of a weird on-off obsession with Steve Evans ever since, but then hasn't moved the football.
Yeah.
But yeah, Bolton and Rotherham to go up. I think it'll be the top of League One's going to be really difficult to watch, because I think it's going to be a lot of ball over the top. You crane your neck watching a lot of it, but it'll be effective. In the playoffs, though, I've gone for Birmingham in the playoff places. I just think, okay, their recruitment has been different to other big clubs, ex-Premier League clubs that dropped down. They've not gone for, hey, he's over 30 and been good in the Championship, let's sign him. A la Derby, Ipswich, Portsmouth, Sunderland, et al. But I still think they spend a lot of money on some unproven players. I mean, they signed a fellow from Go Ahead Eagles, who literally were playing Europa Conference League football last week. So that's amazing. But I don't know if that necessarily will translate to the ins and outs and the real muck and bullets of League One football. I no doubt they'll be brilliant players. They've got Alfie Mayen from Charlton, who's a good goal scorer at League One level, but is he enough to fire to the top of the league? They're wrong. They've got depth, and I'm going to look at Arsenal when I say this, and they win the league by 50 points at the end of the season. But I don't know where it is. I think it needs more than just what's been done so far to resurrect what was a disastrous season last season with Birmingham. I think Chris Davis is Ange Postecoglou's old assistant, a good manager. Well, he will be a good manager, so I'd say he hasn't got much experience yet, but he's anything like Ange, and he'll be really good. But I just feel like there's more experience in the dugout and more experience on the pitch in that level for Bolton and Rotherham to go up. But I have also said Birmingham, Huddersfield, Peterborough, for reasons we've established, they're always 4th or 5th in League One. And I've gone Lincoln for the last playoff place. I think under Michael Scubala, they improved massively. They were nearly there last season. And again, they've got this knack of getting young gems in from lower down or even from a non-league and just producing these really good players. I mean, the club has been on the up since Beck and I saw them in the National League. Lincoln have just gone from strength to strength, knocked on the door. And there's always that kind of club in the playoffs in League One where you go, there's the traditional names and there's like a, like we had Oxford last season that ended up going up, but kind of a club that you don't necessarily expect to go or expect to be in there, but they'll be there. But I do also like Stockport, Charlton, and weirdly I quite like Wigan. I think Sean Maloney's a really good manager. I think they've recruited all right. They've been in some bad moments, Wigan, the last few years, of course. I just think those three clubs, wouldn't be shocked to see them there or thereabouts. To go down, again, this is the gravity relegation theory. Shrewsbury, they've only finished above the bottom 12 once in the last 9 years in League One. Okay, that one time was third, but they're a team, it's a bottom half team that are spiralling. I feel like they're on the way down. Cambridge, likewise, since losing Mark Bono, and they just seem to circle the drain a bit in League One. Burton Albion. Now, Burton Albion's a curious one, because I wasn't going to put them in until I realised they've basically got rid of, and this is according to not top 20, all but 2 or 3 of their squad from the previous season. Got a new owner in, new owners, this Nordic football group. Now, they could either win the league with 100 points, or it's going to go horrendously. We have no idea what Burton Albion are going to do, but in those situations, and you look at the size of club Burton are, no disrespect meant, they've been in the Championship, they've had a bloody good run in the Football League the last 15, 20 years compared to where they were, but you kind of feel like, again, a bit like Cambridge, they've been circling the drain in League One the last few seasons, they've been getting out on the final day or last few games of the season, and this could just be their time. I don't think it's going to shock anyone that I tip Crawley to go straight back down, because it seems to have sold half the squad that got them up. So the only real positive they've still got Scott Lindsay in charge, who's done a fantastic job there to get them up, because most people would have said they would have gone down at the start of last season in League Two. But I just think, what's going on there? Why are you getting rid of all your best players and bringing in randoms from non-league that are unproven, but you're a division above? I don't think that necessarily always works in League One. But I've said I don't fancy Stevenage. Again, 3 reasons why. Not Steve Evans.
Their home shirt, by the way, deserves to be relegated.
Which Crawley?
No, Stevenage.
Really? Is it bad?
Oh, it's horrendous. But going back to Shrewsbury, they should be promoted based on theirs. It's a proper,
I've not seen it.
Proper retro, 3-button up, but looks baggy. Looks like you could go camping in it.
90s.
I'll send some pictures in a minute in the group chat, but it's like you wouldn't want to walk past a naked flame, is all I'll say. But I'm all for it.
Okay.
Got a quick question for Mark, actually. In terms of Birmingham and what happened to Birmingham, obviously they got Tom Brady and different things like that. How did that go down in terms of, obviously geographically you're not a million miles off Birmingham, but West Brom fans and fans like yourself, how did it sort of go for yourselves in terms of, did you think, wow, that was, you could see that happening, or you couldn't see it happening, or?
It was a bit of a weird one, because, I mean, they sacked John Eustace after beating us at St Andrews. I think it was 3-1. Round about just after Christmas, possibly. But yeah, so and they were in the playoffs at that point, so no one expected, the manager to go after beating what would you normally class us as playoff contenders, but we'll get that in the next bit. But yeah, and I work with a few Blues fans as well, so they were sort of, oh no, we'll be all right. And then the confidence level just seemed to drop every couple of weeks. And then Rooney coming in, they were like, ah, crap. But then when Mowbray come in, obviously he's one of the best managers that I've seen at the Hawthorns. I thought he was going to do it and keep him up. But then he had his health problems, and then Venus took over, and then they had Gary Rowett come in as well. It was just like, you can't go through that many changes over the course of just one season and expect to do any good. So ultimately it didn't seem like a great surprise. But initially we just thought, they might just drop out the playoffs, they'll finish mid-table, then build again next season. But that wasn't the case, as we know. But if they invest right and they can get off to a good start, then there's no reason they can't do like what Wolves did a few years ago. I say if it was quite a few years ago now. They did the double drop, which for me, I found great pleasure in that. But fair play to them. They dusted themselves off. It's like, right, League One, we can only beat what's in front of us, and they just smashed it. And then, obviously, they got back up and built a Premier League team in the Championship. Whether the Blues do that, who knows?
Do they have financial backing? I know Tom Brady is involved. Is he hoping to, it's not going to be the silver bullet, is it? Or do you think it's going to be just steady themselves? I'm not too sure. I can't work out if they've got the financial backing to obviously fly up that league or not. I'm not too sure.
I'm not entirely sure what the sort of financial status is. I don't think there's been any worries.
No.
But on the other hand, I don't think they're sort of, Man City, Newcastle levels either.
I think Birmingham fans have been quite bullish from what I've seen on social media about. It's been weird because there's been whole video content, everything made about it on YouTube about how is this club and this fans so confident after being relegated. And the argument, which I totally get from Birmingham fans, is they've had Carson Young for years who crippled the club.
Yeah.
And there was all kinds of mysterious whatever going on in the background. The club was basically getting assets stripped, the state of the stadium, the absolute joke of churning managers that when they got rid of, was it Rowett the first time and got Gianfranco Zola in, or I can't remember if it was Rowett or Gary Monk, or if it was now.
Well, they've ordered it. Redknapp had a turn, didn't he, as well?
Yeah, I think I had a go at one point. It was, but it was an absolute joke behind the scenes. The fact now they look like they've got stable owners with money behind them, that in the end, doesn't matter if you're in League One. What they want to see is a club that's fully functioning with ambition. And I think if you look at it, you'd rather take backing and a stable model with a stable plan going forward. And is it Tom Werner, the name of the owner?
So, yeah.
The American, who's got Tom Brady, and it's something Werner in it. You'd rather see that plan, that stability, and that progress going forward for the next decade, whatever, in League One going forward, than being a club with no sort of ambition, sort of circling the drain again, like I say, in the Championship. And I think that's what's so enticing for Birmingham fans. And as well, I think they see this year as a chance to really get back to winning games against what will be poor opposition. And I can't blame them for feeling positive and feeling more confident that they're going to win the league.
Well, bear in mind,
this year
Blues, not too long ago, they were playing in the Europa League after winning the League Cup. So, they've gone from the heights of that, all right, they got relegated, I think, that season.
Yeah.
But still, within the last sort of less than 15 years ago, I think. They've gone from playing that. So it's quite a departure from what they've been used to for a while. Again, Championship, they were used to that for quite some time. But now, as a lot of teams have gone down there, and we found it when we dropped to the third tier, like 30 odd years ago, it's a different kettle of fish altogether.
Yeah, when they're bullish now, and I totally get it. But when you've got trips to, like, say, Stevenage or Crawley in the league on a Tuesday night in December, I don't know what the fixtures look like in terms of whether they actually play those teams on a Tuesday night in December. You've got to have a special kind of character as a player. You can't be a good Championship or ex-Premier League player who thinks they're just going to turn up and stroll around the pitch 46 games and win the league.
Exactly.
You've got to really get stuck in, and that's kind of why I put Birmingham where I have outside those top two places. But I can totally get it if I'm wrong and they end up destroying the league, because they do look like they've got a strong squad on paper, but it remains to be seen. But I think Blues fans can be really positive going forward now. It's the new season, which is great for them because they've had a decade plus of absolute. It's been a disgrace, really, on it.
Yeah,
they're not the only club, far from it. But in this instance, it's been really poor.
And let's face it,
where they were.
Owners from the Far East and West Midlands clubs don't really go together, because we had it with us. They had it at the Villa. I'm sure Wolves had problems with their Chinese owners.
Wolves had a Chinese owner, yeah.
And they've all, not been great, shall we say.
Yeah, I mean, I want to say, without sounding too controversial, I think the issue comes more with just Far Eastern owners. I think there was certainly a tax or an issue that the Chinese government put in place on
They
Chinese
can only
owned
take so
foreign
much
clubs
money as well, can't they?
in about 2018, because that's the issue with Da Young and Reading, and I mean, this could be a whole podcast that we haven't got time to go into now. But that's when they sort of curtailed the boom of Chinese football. Generally, the tax on foreign imports, why you've got Oscar out there at Shanghai SIPG or Shanghai Port, but you've not got any other major foreign names now because they've really scaled back on investing in private clubs, and private companies are no longer allowed to own clubs anymore. Hence why Guangzhou got relegated and so on. I could go into this, but There's been a real issue with Far Eastern owners, and certainly in English football, but also you look at Valencia, you look at other clubs as well around Europe, Inter Milan, and all kinds of issues as well.
I'm going to just piss off Deck with my predictions. So you're going to Bolton and Wrexham are going to win. I'm going to battle it out. And then either Stockport or Wigan is going up in the playoffs. God.
All I can think of is instead of Wolverine v Deadpool, it's Peter Kay v Deadpool. Which is the film we all want to
start on Deadpool, by the way. It's hilarious. I went not this Saturday, on the other one.
Hang on. When did you buy your tickets?
About 3 years ago.
2013.
Because he's playing dates at about 2029, isn't he? Something stupid.
He's doing one gig every month in the MEN until next July.
Fair play to him.
He's funny. Sorry, Matt, you run about...
It must be out of date by now, most for stand-up, because he's been doing it for about a year and a half already.
Yeah, I don't want to ruin it for anyone. Then again, don't want to ruin it for anyone.
Then again, most of stand-up was from 1974 anyway, so I suppose it doesn't really matter, does it? Not to hack on Peter Kay too much.
Sorry, Matt, go on. I've ruined your...
No, or yours. No, my prediction is purely just to piss off Deck, so I have them.
Cheers, Matt. Thanks, Emil.
There's a team that are in this division that I've got a lot of time for. I've got a soft spot for Mansfield Town. Now, there was a lad, I don't think Jimmy knows who he is, but he was a lad we used to go to uni with called Nick Sankey, who's a Mansfield fan. He would always get a good Mansfield chat out of him, and we used to play each other, back in the old Division 4, as I call it. And I was just on Twitter trying to find some predictions off other people. And there's a lad here, Jake Tong, who's done his league, 1 to 24. He's got Mansfield to be relegated. So I thought I'd ask him, how come you got Mansfield so low? I thought they had a decent season last season. And he's put lots of issues with the squad in terms of age and quality. And I'm not a big fan of Cloughy either. I was like, oh, okay. But obviously Mansfield went up, got promoted. I hope they can stay up. It's obviously it's such a difficult division. Obviously, it's not as difficult as the Championship in terms of it's a difficult game every week almost. But you look at the teams in there. There's a team Barnsley, always roughly speaking up there. You've got the Wrexham, obviously new on the scene in there as well. But yeah, that was just my 2 cents. I do hope that Mansfield stay up. That's my not a prediction, a hope more than anything.
Not a prediction, it's a spoiler.
Spoiler alert. There you go. Spoiler alert.
Just had a quick look at the Shrewsbury shirt. Yes.
Oh.
I very much approve.
Let's have a look at this.
It's outstanding.
Look.
Collar and all sorts going on there.
Yeah. Collar. That no player is going to look ripped in that. Like the arms are like you could park buses in them. It's just... It streams
I don't
like
think I see it in person.
Early 90s.
I mean, I don't know who the hell are Oxen.
No idea. I've also sent in the group chat the I'm not even going to say Stevenage effort. It is possibly the worst thing
that reminds me of the Stevenage one. Reminds me. Do you know when you used to have those shirts when you were a kid, and it was like a black with the flames coming up from the bottom?
Yep.
Of it?
So like Bam Bam Bigelow's outfit.
There you go.
Yeah. That's a good shout. Buttermark. Imagine that with a football shirt. And
do you remember Woody Woodpecker, the kids' TV show?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Why can't we see the rest of his face though? That's what I'm worried about.
Or Chicken Roll.
Chicken Roll.
The fact that it's called Woodpecker, you can draw your own conclusions.
Gosh.
You want to see the shorts?
I
just hope they're awesome.
Oh, that's a cracking shirt. I've just opened that Shrewsbury one. Yeah. I want them to win the league now, just on that basis.
Absolute belter.
Yeah, absolutely.
It screams playoff final win.
Yes.
No idea why. It just does scream playoff final win.
Coca-Cola EFL to me. Yeah.
Yeah, Coca-Cola League One.
It screams, don't machine wash it and don't even put it in the same room as a tumble dryer.
Do not dry clean.
Exactly.
Dry it in the snow.
To me, all I can think of is Banana Man from the Dandy. Which is about half of you won't get.
I think I know why I like it.
Go on, Deck.
I think it reminds me of my primary school's football kit, St Anne's. They used to play in like an orange and blue kit.
Interesting.
Maybe that's
the Stevenage one I'm just looking up now. It seems to have the Mighty Ducks logo coming out the bottom of it. I'm not entirely sure what's going on there. It's shit.
It's almost as bad as last year's one for them, because that was an absolute stonker as well.
Was it Stevenage who had the Burger King shirt?
Yeah.
I know Getafe did that, but they're reprehensible for a whole other reason. But
Sure it was.
I
think that's why Steve Evans joined them as well at one point.
I was thinking, am I just thinking of Steve Evans, or am I genuinely thinking of the other
promotion bonus and saturated fat?
Blackout.
Saturated fats FC.
Joke about 11 Whoppers somewhere, but...
Hey.
I think with the Shrewsbury thing, I'll let you get onto the Championship in a bit. I'm partial for the wide stripes because our kit from the 70s, which I've got, like, when they do like the re-releases of older kits, I've got one of ours from, I think, like 77, 78, and that's got the broad stripes. And we had it 05, 06, just after we'd done the Great Escape, was a wide stripe, but it had like the big gap, little floppy collar. It was one of my favourite.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it was a nice shirt.
Yeah. We're re-releasing the 99-2000 the Worthington Cup final shirt, but they're doing it with Patrick. So Patrick are actually remaking the shirt.
They're making the shirts. Oh, nice.
Yeah,
They're still going, Patrick.
I've still got the original, but it's
never
a bit,
at the time.
it's a bit
snug now.
A bit tight.
You're about 4 when you got the
It's fit you, Jimmy. If you want to do a little bit of a deal,
it might fit my leg at a push.
And
makes a nice sock.
Like I say, never had it at the time. Wanted it at the time, never got it. But yeah,
it's limited my match on my shirts. I do remember a green away shirt that I couldn't tell you what year it was.
Patrick as well, yeah.
98, 99.
And do you know why they had that?
Green with the orange underneath the art. Yeah.
Going back to your best mate John Aldridge, they actually did a shirt in Ireland's colours because they had Aldo in the squad. Yeah.
Who's the least Irish person you'll ever meet in your entire life?
I know.
You're more Irish than him.
Well, I've got a passport.
He's got his passport.
That suggests. Yeah.
It's Only a Game podcast with hosts Jimmy, Greg, Dec and Matt, bringing football topics with occasional guests. Download, subscribe and stream for a hat-trick of support. Tap in ratings and reviews on your podcast platform. Stay on side with our YouTube channel and social media pages.
Sports Social Podcast Network.